It's always difficult playing Manchester City here, but you must be disappointed with that performance.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It is always difficult playing Manchester City. I thought the performance today was probably our worst one for a long time. We've had spells where we've been poor, but not for the majority of the game. Obviously, the players are in a very solemn mood in the back there, and they know that they haven't done themselves justice. They know that, and we feel sorry for the fans that have travelled all the way here and seen that level of performance.
Did you feel that they'd sort of given up on the job? They'd given up on trying to stay up? Or?
No, I don't think they did. I just think that we talked about certain things before the game, and one or two switched off and didn't do it. And then all of a sudden, you've got a mountain to climb. Whoever you're playing in the Premiership, far less Manchester City, who have top level quality. And I don't think they gave up. I thought that we shot ourselves in the foot by three set pieces we gave away. And when you're playing a team like that, you know they're going to have the ball for long periods, and you know that they can pull out wow moments with their individuals. So that helped to get, when you don't do what you set out to do, it gives them confidence. They scored an early goal, and then it was always going to be an uphill battle. I mean, when you have individual mistakes like we had, coming into the second half, that killed us really. The third goal, just an individual mistake, and then it's very difficult when you're out there, in front of that crowd, with them popping the ball about. I don't think they gave up. I just think that on the day, our quality was nowhere near what it should be for a Premiership team.
Joey Barton gave an interview. Joey Barton gave an interview before this game in which he said there were one or two bad eggs in the dressing room, and if he'd had his way, they'd have been out of the building. Who do you blame for this predicament?
For the bad eggs?
Well, the bad eggs also, but the whole predicament the club's in now, relegation, and the way it's unfolded this season. Who's to blame?
I think, just to answer the first question, I think Joey's comment about the bad eggs, I think if you go to any club, there's going to be bad eggs, and I think there will be people, you could go anywhere and there's going to be bad eggs. I think what Joey probably alluded to is that there are people that could have probably helped us who haven't helped us. And I don't really want to expand on that, but we can over a coffee after this if you want. But for me, it's about focusing on the fact that we didn't really do what we were supposed to do in the game today, which was disappointing for the fans. To answer your second question about who to blame, I don't know if you can, I don't know if I'm the right person sat in this position to blame anybody. I've been given a marvellous opportunity. Unfortunately, it was in a situation that was already on the decline. And the players have shown a lot of fight and determination to stay in the league, but you don't end up where you are by fluke. We've given away 10 points in the after 80 minutes, which probably shows that there's probably a problem with concentration or fitness or quality, whatever you might call it. There's some sort of lack of X factor that doesn't take us right to the last minute, and this is probably the only top team since I've been involved that we haven't given a proper match. Most of the teams we've played against, your Arsenals, Liverpools, Chelsea's, we've been in it right to the last minute, and given away goals right at the last minute. So we came here confident that we could at least go toe to toe. And we know that when you do have their level of quality, that somebody can pull something out of the bag at any stage, and then you have to put your hand up and say, world-class players do world-class things that are sometimes difficult to stop.
Chris, you've got, for a team at the bottom of the league, you've got a big wage bill. There's talk.
I'm not on it, by the way.
But there's talk. There's all this possibilities around financial fair play and this fine and what it might mean. Are you concerned now for the future of QPR? Do you worry that you're on the sort of on the edge of a huge precipice, as it were?
Well, I think the owners will save us from going over the edge. And I don't really understand the bits and bobs of what's gone on before I came, but I think we have very good owners and board members that will try to put something in place to make sure that QPR doesn't end up like some of the other clubs that we've seen that have slid all the way down the divisions and ended up in the financial mire.
Chris, what about your own position now? What happens now?
I don't know. The club will make an announcement probably at the end of the season. It's always difficult when you're sat here, having lost 6-0, because I know that generally people look for heads, don't they, when there's a heavy defeat. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping that they make a positive decision towards me, and that I'm at the helm to help them in their long-term plans. So that's how I sit at the moment. And as we know, a lot changes in football from week to week. So you don't know where you're going to be and where you're not going to be.
Chris, given the way this season's gone, is it a good thing or a bad thing that sort of half the squad are out of contract this summer?
I think obviously, it's well documented about our wage bill, and I'm not sure that the club could sustain that over a long period. I don't know if that makes good financial practice. So from a financial point of view, I think the club will be in a position now to readjust its finances and be have a more realistic wage bill for where we're going to be, which is the Championship. And we've almost forced ourselves into, by being relegated, to have to adjust our wage bill. So I think that the accountant will probably look at it and be saying that we really do need to have a look at this to make sure that we don't end up being in a situation that other clubs have found themselves in.
Chris, just back to the game. You probably work all week on ensuring that the likes of Silva and Aguero aren't given the sort of space and freedom with which they're going to damage you. And you watch that in the game, and they're just given so much room and space. How frustrating as a coach, is it that they just don't follow any of your instructions basically during the game?
Well, any coach will tell you it's the most frustrating thing. That's why people win and lose games. It's the most frustrating things. That's why. Yeah, exactly. But that's why rollickings are given out. Because sometimes people switch off, and then it's a knock-on effect. You might have one or two players playing poorly that affect the rest of the team. So no, it's very frustrating. It's a good question, and any other manager sitting here having lost 6-0 would probably be saying the same as me. You do get games where things don't work, and for us this was one of the games. Over the last few weeks, I would have to say that a poor performance was coming, because we have played well and we haven't been able to take the points because of the last-minute goals we've let in. So a poor performance was coming, but you'd obviously wouldn't have rather it been live on telly in midday in front of everybody. You would rather taken that on a Tuesday night when no one's watching.
Chris, can you just when Sean Wright-Phillips came on, he got a great reception from the City fans, but the precise opposite from the QPR fans. He seems to have become a symbol of the club's excesses. Is he one of the players you mean when you say that some players should have helped more but haven't helped?
I wouldn't say Sean particularly, because Sean's been on the bench. He's been on the bench most of the time, and I've used him when I've seen it was the right time to use him, but not Sean particularly. There's obviously other players that could have helped us. Sean has trained fantastically, and he's been on the bench. From who? Well, the home fans?
No, the away fans pretty much. It's incredibly hostile.
Maybe it might have been something that has happened before I came, you know, but you know, obviously in a situation that we were there now, players had tired legs, and I thought it would have been an injustice to bring on a youngster who would have probably damaged his confidence more than it would do for a senior pro coming on the pitch.
Chris, can you just explain the Sandro situation from your point of view? Like, you know, massive game and you can't pick one of your main midfielders.
From my point of view, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Massive blow to us today. But you know, there's not much you can really do about it. You know, if you get to find out something very late in the day, and you then have to change your plans. And you know, that's professional football. You have to be in a position to do that. You can only concentrate on the players you have available to play.
Was it a administrative cock up with the club? Or is it the club secretary who's missing it out? Like, what's actually happened?
I actually don't know, because obviously when I was told that he wasn't available to play, you know, after you know, a few harsh words to myself, I just had to concentrate on who and change my thoughts about who was going to play in that position and what was going to be best suited for the day.
When did you find out?
Friday.
You were saying on TV, Chris, that you want the job full time now. Is the fact that you've gone down and the way that you've gone down and the FFP cloud that's now hanging over the whole club, does that not scare you off in any kind of way at all?
No, that's a good question. It doesn't scare me off because it's a fantastic job, and let's be honest, at this moment, you know, you've only got a handful of of Premiership managers, you know, and to be one of them is an honour. Even though I do believe that I'm capable of doing the job, and I think that any manager who is successful comes upon these times during their career. There's very few managers that go into a job that is a brilliant job to start with no problems. You only get the job because there are problems, you know, and that's why you get the job. So the fact that I've been in it a couple of months now and worked with the players and been around the club, you know, makes me more want to bring success to the club, and success not only being in the fact of bouncing straight back to the Premiership, success in helping the club to be on a stable footing and make sure that there are some long-term plans for the club, and make sure that whatever happens that I can stay at the club as long as I can, you know, to sort of, one, pay back the owners in the faith they put in me, and two, to ensure that the fans get what they need as regards to having a top level club at Loftus Road.